Good morning, everyone. Sheila here in Boho Daydreams, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. We have had some really mild weather now. We went from an Arctic freeze snowmageddon to freezing rain, and so it was really cold. And so we had a lot of ice, compact ice, and now it's all melting, and it's like a sheet of ice outside. I needed to go grab some firewood. It's still a little bit chilly inside of my studio without a fire. And oh my goodness sakes, I went outside barefoot because it afforded me the most traction from my very warm feet. So I just went wading through the water on top of the ice, and I didn't fall. But with my running shoes on, it's a little bit sketchy. Anyway, it's been a while since I got to work on this journal. I just want to show you one of the next projects that I'm going to be doing. Is I found a whole bunch of these wide hold beads, and I didn't even know I had them, but they sure are pretty. I mean, some of them are broken, but look how, whoops, where's my camera? There, look how pretty they are. I love them. I love the floral. They're the lamp work, but they're in the wide hold beads. I love them. So we're going to do a little tutorial on that. Oh, there's another one that just went flying. I'm sure if I swept my floor, I'd probably find a lot of beads that I thought had gone missing. So I worked on these, and so I did the first couple of pages on this one too. And I looked at it and I thought, well, I wonder if I should maybe add a bit of bling to this. I didn't know, but then I found this piece kind of hanging out, and I thought, isn't that pretty? So I think I'm going to add that there. So this is just a pocket, a lace pocket. It's got some antique lace on it. Isn't that lace pretty? Oh, I love it. And it looks really pretty that way. But I just thought maybe it would add a bit of depth with this. And I think so. So I'm just going to tag that there. That way then I know what I'm doing. And then I just did up some more pages. I love this. I love this. So what I did on this page here is I added 2 pieces of lace. And then I put this, it was a piece of a dress. I just popped it on there. So it's a little pocket. I added some really pretty trim. But it makes it, I don't know if you can see it, but it makes it look ombre, adding the vintage lace over top of the slightly purple lace, the lavender lace. I like it. I like the way that looks. And I didn't do a lot of stitching in here. Not yet. If I'm going to stitch, I'll do that when I take it to the sewing machine. So I took an old doily and I just added that. That's a pocket. I love the way this looks because this is going to hang. It's going to hang like a layer. Let's see, where does this one go? This one goes right here. I love the layered look. So before I sew it in, sew the journal in, I'm going to stagger the pages so that it's got that look to it. And so nothing is symmetrical that way. And so far I've just glued things in. I love the idea of just ripping up some, it doesn't matter what it is, but this is just something I had copied onto some calligraphy paper. And it's a really soft paper. It's super, super soft. But I love the attention that it gives to the edge of the page. I like that. I hope Deborah likes it too. And you know, then sometimes you just kind of don't pay attention to what you're doing. And then you put things in upside down. And I wasn't going to show that off, but I am, because, you know, it's a struggle. It's a struggle keeping all my pages the right side up, and I wasn't paying attention. So you got to pay attention to both sides of the paper before you glue anything down. And this is a piece of vellum, and it's hanging on to all this really nicely. I'm surprised, but I did reinforce it a little bit with some more. This is tracing paper that I had copied onto. And then I just added a little bit of lace to the bottom there, and just glued on a bit of Edith Holden on the edges. And I like that, so I doubt if I'll do anything more on that edge. I like it. Ooh, and I love this too. I love the way this turned out. It's just a layering of stuff. And this is just 2 different pieces of lace that I just made a pocket. But I love the way that looks. I love this lace. I don't even know if I have all this stuff glued down. And here's just a piece of sari that I had left over. And it matches so perfectly. So I just kind of collaged a couple of pieces, different types of paper to the paper, so that it makes a really nice flip up. And I left it long enough so it's going to hang out the bottom like that, because it just adds the layering look. I love the color, and I love this too. I don't have any more of that. Maybe in my storage, but that's about it. And then this is a couple of sheets that I sewed together, and they might just be pockets. I'm not sure. And the rest is just kind of, it hasn't been complete yet, because I wanted to kind of get an idea of the thickness of I'm falling off my chair. The thickness of the 2 signatures. They're over half done. So I thought, you know, because I want to start on the cover, because I can't wait. I need to have a little break from the embellishing. And this one here, you've seen most of it. I've glued down some things, so that way they're not going to be falling all over the place. I really like this. I do. I just made a little tuck spot. I added a bit of that calligraphy paper. I just glued it down, and then I stuck one of my tags down, and I just made it a tuck spot. And then I grabbed this girl from the kit, and I just tore her off the page, and I just backed her with some Edith Holden and a few others. And I might add something to the back of that. I'm not sure yet, to hide that, make it a journaling card. And this, I love this too. And I'm thinking I might just hang something from here. There might be things hanging from here. But I love all of the way that looked. And I just took this piece of lace because it was a little bit longer. I just wrapped it around. I love that lace. I don't know what it's called, but I sure do like it. And this is just a wedding applique. And I just kind of stuck it there. Just collaged a bunch of papers and more paper, and to make it look like it's washi taped on and whatnot. Just kind of a chamaz of papers. Made a little flip out there. And again, to add definition to the page, this is just a tuck spot pocket. But I grabbed a piece of, what's it? Music paper. And I loved the word, so I just left it and then kind of collaged a few pieces of textiles on, as I did here too. And I used some of the embossed paper that I had. And here too, I just made kind of a journaling, a tuck spot there with lace and paper and more lace, etc., and some trim. And then this here, I really like this. This here is a little photo frame. And I'm just going to leave it free flowing like that, so that Deborah can use that wherever she wants. If she wants to put something special in there and glue it down, it can be tucked into a pocket like that. But for now, it's just going to sit. It's just going to sit like this. I like the way that turned out. I love the embossing. And here is just a big piece of antique lace. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. And then just added a bit more. And then there's this piece here. I don't exactly know where I'm going to pop it. So that's what I've got done so far. So we're going to work on the cover. So, okay, I have to just tell you, yesterday I was working on making these. And these are the pins, the stick pins. And they are so pretty. So pretty. But when I started to make them, all of my glue was like possessed, because I couldn't use I couldn't use my E6000 glue, because it came out like cement. It just came out like rubber. And somebody mentioned to me that I should add some acetone to it. So I did. I added acetone. I put it into a little bottle and I added acetone. And you know what happened? It wouldn't mix. It just would not mix. It's like solid, like this. It barely moves. So acetone, pure acetone at that, and E6000 glue doesn't mix. So I dumped all of that into my, I dumped all the acetone into my, my Fabri-Tac and just let it go there. So what I did, what I had ordered a while back, and it came, I thought this would be good for those things that require a lot of glue, really strong glue to hold it. And so I ordered this, and I thought, well, hey, I'm going to use that on my pins, because that's going to hold things in place. I won't have to worry. And then I did, and I didn't realize that the glue, and it was a different pin. That pin is now going to its home. It had run. And so I was hanging on to it like this. And then it glued right to my fingers. And everything was stuck tight. It was so tight, in fact, that when I ripped my fingers off of, tried to get my fingers off of all the little beads and the stick pin itself, I tore all the beads off the pin too. So that's really super strong stuff. So you have to be careful with that. But my fingers were fine. I didn't tear the skin off of my fingers. I just didn't realize that that glue was that powerful. But now I know. Anyway, so what I did, I went and got my covers done. And I was going to video this last night, but my hubs came in early. And so there's no videoing when he comes in. And I think that is going to be wide enough. I think so. Let's see. Sure, that'll be wide enough. Yeah, it's almost 2 inches wide. And if I need to make it wider, then I guess I'm just going to have to make my signatures less chunky. It'll all just be done. So anyway, this, I measured my pages, and so this is about a 1/2 inch bigger than what my pages are, because my pages aren't the full width of the paper, because I cut the edges off of the DigiKit, so I lost about 1/2 inch. So I measured the largest page, and then I went just 1/2 inch, no, 1/4 inch larger in width and height. And so I painted them purple, and you don't have to do this, not for dark colors, really. but I do because I don't want anything showing through my fabric. So I painted it a deep purple. And if you had a light color, like a light blue, light pink, a light yellow, you would paint them this, paint it white or a super light color, because you don't want that showing through your velvet or your cover fabric. So I just took my velvet, and I know that it's going to fit because I made it extra big for that. So I'm going to glue this up, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I am back. So what I did is I used, it's like Fabri-Tac, it's about the same maker. I used this glue and I put it all over the place, and then I took out any bumps that there were. You kind of have to work a little bit fast with this. And then I have my velvet ready, and I want a little bit. I also should mention that paint the back too, where you're going to have your velvet lie over the edge. You don't need much, but you need to have a little bit, and then pat it down. And I spread the glue out like that so it doesn't show up. It won't bleed through. So then just make sure that you straighten it out really well. And I have a brayer here, so I'm just going to bray it all down. So there's no bubbles, no nothing at all. I just want it nice and flat. All right. Yes, that's good. That looks good. Do we have enough? Yes, we do. Want enough. And make sure that you paint that side too. So I'm going to pop the spine in. And when you're doing the spine, you're going to need to leave just a little bit of space. The width of your chipboard. So that way it's going to fold properly, right? So make sure that you have about, you know, just a little bit of room in between your one cover to your spine. And I did a video on this a while back. I'm going to link that in the description box because I go through all the details in that video of how to put this down. So I'm going to be back as soon as I have the rest of these glued down. Okay, so I came back a little bit earlier because maybe there is a bit that I need to explain. I put a little bit of glue along this edge like this and all the edges because you're going to want the velvet later on to attach. So now I take, and I kind of have an idea of how far I need to keep it distant. And then I place it, make sure that my velvet is nice and taut, not stretching it, but just nice and taut. So that way it's not going to be puckering. And it looks about good. Oh, my hands. Oh, my goodness sakes. I have glue all over my fingers. I wasn't going to show this, but I thought I better do that. All right, so we've got, that is nicely down flat like that. And I'm going to go and do the other cover, and then I'll be back. Okay, so they're all glued down nicely. So now you're going to want to trim off the extra velvet that you have along the outer edges. Let me see where my scissors is. And leave at least a ½ inch because you want it to fold over. You can always trim off extra, but you just can't add extra, you know? And as someone who has trimmed it too closely to the edge, I can tell you it's harder if you don't leave the extra piece of fabric. A little bit extra. You can always trim it off. Sorry about the noise. All right, so now we're going to glue around the edges. And I do the top and the bottom first before I do the sides. You just put glue along the edge like that. And then I rub it to get any globs out, and I also make sure that it gets the edge, because I want the edge to be sticking down too, in case there's a bubble. And I just put a little bit extra because I didn't have enough, so that way I can put a little on the yeah, like that. Sorry about the glue fingers. I just don't know any other way to do it, you know. All right. So then, taking from just the center first, I just bring that over. I don't want it stretched. I don't want it stretched this way, because it will pull later on the cover and you'll see it. There. And you know, by the, you know, when you rub the glue around like that, it just grabs the fabric and it doesn't seep through, because there's no globs to seep through. So there, that's that. How pretty that is. And so far I don't see any glue seeping through anywhere, so that makes me happy. Makes me super happy. All right, so we're going to do the edges now. Okay, this is always the most difficult part for me, is my corners. So I might not do them like you do them, and I might not do it the easiest way, but I'm always worried that I'm cutting off too much fabric. So I'm just going to glue down. Until I have more experience with corners, I just do this. I add the glue like normal, and I mush it around like that. And I also try and get a little bit of the edge. And then I start at the center and I pull the fabric over, because this is the most difficult part for me. And I may even have to go off camera to figure it out, you know, because I don't do it very often. All right, so I've done that. And now I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to figure out how to make those corners look nice and neat, and then I'll be back. Okay, so that was a challenge for me. And I didn't realize I had so much glue down, and then I ended up gluing those corners down. But I did have to snip off just a little bit of each corner. So I snipped off that. And then I just kind of tuck them and fold them until I'm happy, and I squeeze them down really hard. But I know that a lot of that's going to be covered up. But they're a challenge for me, and trust me, I've watched a lot of videos trying to figure it out easy, and to me it's not easy. So that's the cover so far. I need to make sure that everything is glued down well. And let's just pop these in. I'm hoping that the spine is big enough. Otherwise, there might just be 2 journals instead of 1. So it looks like there should be. It looks like there's still lots of room. And I'll be placing them so that all the little bits and pieces can hang around. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. The Digi kit I used, and I'm sorry I forgot to pop this up right away. The Digi kit is an Amethyst for Sara, And it's a Sherri Czymr digikit. It's very lovely, very big. And her Etsy shop is Studio 28E Journals. And I'm going to attempt to link that in the description box. I hope that this has been helpful. I'm going to be working on this a little bit more so that I can get it done. Deborah's been waiting for this for a long time. I want to thank everyone who drops by to encourage me. It takes a lot of courage to do a journal on YouTube. And I want to thank every one of you who does drop by, leaves me a comment, leaves me a bit of help. I love it. I'm just learning. Have a good rest of your week. Bye-bye.